These are Alan Javellana, former president of the National Agribusiness Corporation or NABCOR, Gondelina Amata, president of the National Livelihood Development Corporation or NLDC, Antonio Ortiz, former Director General, Training and Research Center or TRC, Dennis Cunanan, former Deputy Director General, now Director General, also of TRC or Training and Research Center, and Salvador Salacup, former President, Zinac Rubber Estate Corporation or CIREC, and I understand is now an Assistant Secretary of the Department of Agriculture. So 5 heads of agencies of GOCCs or implementing agencies. Also, 6 presidents of Napoles NGOs are also being recommended to be charged for plunder as well as malversation. These are the following. Jocelyn Piorato of the ang NGO po niya ay Agrikultura para sa Magbubukid Foundation Inc. or APMFI. Nemesio Pablo, Agri and Economic Program for Farmers Foundation Inc. or AEPFFI. Mylene Encarnacion, Countrywide Agri and Rural Economic and Development Foundation Inc. or CARED. John Raymond De Asis, Kaupdanan para sa Mangunguma Foundation Inc. or KPMFI. Evelyn De Leon, the Philippine Social Development Foundation Inc. PSDFI. And Ronald John Lim, Ginintuang Alay sa Magsasaka Foundation Inc. or GAMFI. So these are the 6 Napoles NGO presidents also being recommended to be charged for plunder and as well as malversation. There are other officials and employees of implementing agencies also for plunder, recommended to be charged for plunder or malversation, bribery, or Graft and Corrupt Practices Act by conspiracy. 5 employees of NABCOR, namely Victor Cacal, Romulo Revelo, Maria Nines Guanizo, Julie Johnson, Rodora Mendoza. 3 officials and employees of NLDC, or the National Livelihood Development Corporation, namely Alexis Sevidal, Sofia Cruz, Chila Halandoni. Is this correct? Chila Halandoni, NLDC. So tatlo naman from NLDC, other officials and employees. And dalawa employees from TRC, or Training and Research Center, namely Francisco Figura and Marivic Hover. Finally, the 38 individual being recommended to be charged for plunder in the case of as co-conspirator in the case of the 5 lawmakers being charged for plunder, and also as a co-conspirator in the case of the 3 other lawmakers being charged for malversation and corruption of public officials, is Ms. Janet Lim Napoles, the owner of the JLN group of companies and believed to be the mastermind of the PDAF scam operations. So, 38 po lahat ang aming pinapakasuhan dito sa first batch of PDAF complaints. We are going to distribute an executive summary para humaintindihan nyo po. So since there are 8 principal would-be respondents, no? 8 principal would-be respondents. Kaya ang sinabit po namin ay individual cover letters, letter complaints corresponding to the 8. Yan lang po yung pinaka-covering letter complaint with a lot of attachments. Nakita nyo naman po siguro, if you have been covering NBI since this morning, you saw the truckload of documents. Now, dahil po 8 yung principal respondents, and these are the law makers. Pasensya na yung mga hindi mabibigyan. Wait. Jesus Christ. No, don't, please. That's not part of it. That's not part of it. No. Can I have that? Excuse me. Excuse me. Kung sino man po nakakuha nung hindi dapat kunin, ang kailangan lang po ninyong kunin ay yung executive summary. If you are in possession of any other document other than an executive summary, that is an unauthorized document, and therefore you may be charged.
Sana ang salamat ni Secretary Lima ito ng mga pangalan para kasuhan na plunder. Unahin muna natin yung dokumenta para kasuhan ng plunder, no? Tatlo itong senador. Ito ay sina Senador Juan Ponce Enriquez, Senador Ramon Bong Revilla Jr., Senador Jose Ingoy Ejercito Estrada, at 2 kongresista, si dating Congresswoman Rizalina Gatchon-Lanete, na ngayon ay gobernador ng Masbate, at si dating Congressman Edgar Bes, Effect Party List. Meron din kakasuhan at mga dating kongresista para naman sa bribery and mga graft and corrupt practices. Ito ay sina former Congressman Rodolfo Plaza ng Arusan del Sur, dating Congressman Samuel Dang ng Benguet, si dating Congressman Constantino Haraula ng Cagayan de Oro. Kakasuhan din ang 8 na mga chief of staff ng mga senador at mga lawmakers isa na sabit sa kasong plunder. Isa dyan itong si Atty. Jessica Lucida Reyes na chief of staff nitong si dating Senate President Bongbong. Bukod
pages per letter complaint. Okay, so now, why do we say plunder for the 5 lawmakers? Excuse me. These 5 lawmakers committed plunder in conspiracy with Napoles and officials of the implementing agencies when said lawmakers each accumulated more than 50 million pesos, which is the, as you know, yung pong threshold amount for plunder, through a series of transactions over time through misappropriation, conversion, misuse, and malversation of the cash value of the project cost allocated from the lawmakers' PDAF and through their acceptance of kickbacks or commissions. And it's indicated in the executive summary the amount of plunder accumulated by each lawmaker representing the kickbacks received from Napoles. So ito pong 5 po ito, puro more than 50 million. Doon naman po sa 3, bakit ho hindi plunder? At bakit ang recommendation lang po namin is for malversation, direct bribery, and other graft and corrupt practices? Ay dahil yung pinaka-basis po ditong, yung threshold na amount, yung supposedly kickback nila, the commission, the rebates from Napoles, less than 50 million, although yung kanilang total PDAF allocations ay more than 50 million. So the crimes of plunder, malversation, bribery, and other graft and corrupt practices were committed when said lawmakers received from Napoles kickbacks amounting to 40 to 60% of the cash value of the project cost for every project endorsed by the lawmaker to a Napoles NGO. These kickbacks are the lawmaker's bribe for giving undue favor to a Napoles NGO or represent his illegally contracted share from a malversation scheme designed to misuse and misappropriate public funds entrusted to him, and which he appropriates instead for private gain rather than the public benefit intended by law. So, since yung amount of commission, kickbacks, rebates are less than 50 million, for these three other lawmakers, hindi ho namin lagay as plunder. Hindi namin maipilit as plunder. Although if we base it from the total PDAF allocations na kanilang misuse, ganun din ho yung mga pinapakasuhan namin for plunder, ay more than 50 million dapat. Now, para lalo din hong maintindihan yung tungkol sa plunder, a representative lang po sa isang pinapakasuhan namin for plunder ay this senator, as a public officer, amassed and accumulated ill-gotten wealth in the total amount of, so tingnan nyo na lang yung mga amounts dyan na nandyan sa executive summary, na mga more than 50 million, by himself and in connivance with his subordinate and authorized representative. So kung sino man yung representative niya, so yun nga po, kasama ho sa mga kakasuhan yung mga chief of staff and other authorized representative, and his co-conspirator, Napoles, and the indispensable participation of the officials of the implementing agencies, namely NABCOR, NLDC, and TRC, through any or a combination or a series of the following overt or criminal acts or similar schemes or means described as follows. A, through misappropriation, conversion, and misuse or malversation of the monetary equivalent of the project cost allocated from that particular senator's PDAF, constituting public funds, and in conspiracy with the responsible officers and employees of NABCOR, NLDC, and TRC. So pinangalanan ho namin yung mga yon. At sinabi ko na nga po yung mga pangalan nila kanina. As well as the NGO presidents, namely, yung pinangalanan ko rin ho kanina. Letter B, by receiving directly or indirectly commissions, rebates, or kickbacks representing his share in the project cost allocated from his PDAF on several instances from Napoles or her employees in connection with a government contract or project that is given by the implementing agency to the corresponding NGO through his endorsement. And letter C, by taking advantage and abuse of his official position or authority as senator of the 14th and 15th Congresses, so this is just a sample, this is one of the three, to unjustly enrich himself at the expense and to the damage and prejudice of the Filipino people and the Republic of the Philippines. And each complaint would outline or would enumerate, would narrate the specifics of those series of overt acts, why we think their acts fall under plunder. Now, so ang recommendation nga po ng NBI is for preliminary investigation. Although we recognize and we would respect the discretion of the Honorable Ombudsman with respect to their independent evaluation of the evidence, the voluminous evidence that we have presented to the Ombudsman along with these complaints. Because under the law and the rules, the Office of the Ombudsman has the option to either subject this first to further investigation or evidence gathering, or may be subjected directly to the preliminary investigation. Pero syempre po, ang unang gagawin ng Office of the Ombudsman ay i-review muna lahat ito, yung mga sinubmit ng NBI, at i-evaluate ho nila kung pwede na po ito for preliminary investigation. So this is the first batch. Next week, we will file the Malampaya, the case regarding the Malampaya scam. And then, hopefully the week after next, the second batch of the PDAF scam complaints. Yun po ang plano po ng NBI with support, with the help of Attorney Baligod as a private complainant. And syempre, I cannot emphasize enough the importance, the significance of the cooperation of our whistleblowers. We have a total of 16 whistleblowers. Yung 10 nga po ay kasalukuyan as we speak. They are also swearing or subscribing to their respective affidavits before the relevant staff of the Office of the Ombudsman. And we have a truckload of documentary evidence na karamihan ho ay galing not only from our whistleblowers but from relevant agencies like COA, DBM, SEC, and even the implementing agencies of the PDAF projects. May mga examples po dito ho sa page 3 ng executive summary, naka-enumerate po under item number 2 yung anong mga klaseng pieces of evidence po yan. Kaya ho ganong kadami. Kasi na-trace ho namin kung ano yung mga projects nila, kung ano yung mga PDAF nila. So yung mga corresponding documents nila, nakakuha po kami ng mga certified true copies, especially from COA, including yung mga legislators' endorsement letters, the project proposals, the project activity reports, the disbursement reports, the disbursement vouchers, accomplishment reports, acknowledgement receipts, delivery reports, memorandum of agreements, of course, SARO. Yung mga project po, nakakuha kami ng mga copy nung SARO. The more sensitive evidence would be, some of them are to follow. But a lot of the information or facts come from the affidavits of our whistleblowers. Ang alam ho namin makakatulong ay yung resulta ng bank inquiry ng AMLAC. Yes, we're expecting it. We don't know. Well, I'm sure, and I think AMLAC is also doing its best. Although hindi ho kasi kami pwedeng diretso na humingi sa kanila. We are banking on the coercive powers of the Ombudsman in compelling the production of those bank records or bank transactions. Thank you. Yes, Ina.
In terms of accumulation of wealth or amassing of wealth, what evidence do you have, ma'am, that they actually received the shares, the commissions? Because I think that's one very important aspect of
Yes,
plunder,
Ina.
diba, ma'am?
Okay. We were discussing that, and the agreement, the consensus among ourselves is that hindi na muna kami magdi-discuss ng merit ng kaso. If we tell you, itong mga ebidensya na ito, ang pinapatunayan nito, it establishes yung actual receipt of the kickback, for example, or of the commission, I'm afraid that baka ho sa merito na po yun, and we do not want to preempt the Ombudsman's exercise of independent evaluation of these pieces of evidence for purposes of determining if they are sufficient enough to warrant preliminary investigation at this point. So yun po, we will be declining questions, or we will not be answering questions which tend to go into the merits of the cases, because it would be preemptive of the exercise of the ombudsman's powers.
Actual receipt, ma'am, of course, without going into details, ma'am, the actual receipt.
We are
of
not
the
going
kickback.
to. We are not going to
Ma'am,
explain that now.
Ma'am.
Last Friday, may nag-file ng case against 5 senators and 23 congressmen. Ma'am, ano bang tingin natin dito? Makakatulong ba ito? Makakatulong lang sa final nating case?
Hindi naman ito parang hindi ito impeachment, na sa impeachment may ganong rule. Kapag maunahan ka ng isa at nandun sa within the proper period, ay hindi na pwede. Ito because anyone has the right to file cases. It's the prerogative of the complainants nung Friday to do that. Siguro ang gagawin dyan ng Office of the Ombudsman ay titingnan lahat yan. Iko-consolidate siguro lahat yan. Mas maganda nga kung meron pang iba.
Ma'am, mag-i-issue ho kayo o magre-recommend ng whole departure order against these people charged?
At this point kasi, excuse me. Well, first of all, I would leave it to the discretion again of the Honorable Ombudsman. Although, remember, mag-PPI pa lang po ito. So, evaluation, then PI. Wala pa ho sa korte. So, kung wala pa sa korte, wala pang pwedeng mag-issue ng HDO.
List, at
Ganon
least
din, yung watch list order, remember that the Department of Justice or the Secretary of Justice is still bound at this point by the TRO that was issued by the Supreme Court dun sa GMA case. Look out, yun lang ang pwede ko. I'm going to issue that now. All of them. Well, yung freeze order po ay may inisyue na yung Court of Appeals against Napoles companies and Napoles NGOs and officials. So pinagpapaaralan ko po ito kung sa freeze order at this point pwede rin kaming humingi as against the lawmakers.
Ma'am, pero na-monitor niyo na kung yung iba nandito pa? O yung iba nakalabas na ng bansa?
Ang na-monitor lang, ang nabalitaan ko lang, is yung pag-alis ni Attorney Jessica Lucila Reyes last August 31 for Macau. And per the BI records, she has not returned yet. Her return ticket is supposed to be September 3, but there is no record of her actual return. Yun po ang na-monitor ko. Meron din pong nagsabi sa akin na meron pa daw pong isa na mukhang nakaalis na, but since I have not validated it yet, hindi ko na muna sasabihin. Well, that is within the prerogatives of each House of Congress. That depends on their rules. That would depend on their internal rules. Kung pwede na sila na, for the disciplinary or the administrative aspect. Independent body po yan. It's a co-equal branch of government. Ito po, this is the criminal fact-finding investigation. Kaya criminal aspect lang po ang tiningnan ng NBI. Yes, of course. The second batch would be new names.
How about this one? The same first batch on the second phase?
I will leave it to the Office of the Ombudsman kung ano ang proseso nila dito. Na I think I read in the papers that the Honorable Ombudsman has created actually a big team already, a team of reviewers, a team of special prosecutors who will conduct the preliminary investigation if and when lalarga ito for preliminary investigation. and a team of maybe trial prosecutors. So nag-prepare na po, sa tingin ko po, at nabasa ko sa papers na nag-prepare na ang ombudsman. That is on top of the IAGC work, ha, na mas malawak. I-announce ko na lang po yun uli kapag nandyan na.
Second batch ba plunder din or is involved?
Depende sa mga amounts. Magtatanong siguro kayo, bakit itong mga ito? 'Di ba? Ano yung standards na inano namin? Bakit itong mga pangalan na ito ang lumabas ngayon as part of the first batch? Dahil sila po ay mga pinangalanan ng aming mga whistleblowers at may personal knowledge ang whistleblowers tungkol sa transactions nila with JLN, at sila rin po yung mga una naming nabuo, yung mga documentary trail na katakot-takot ng dami-dami, nabuo ho yun para sa kanila. As a matter of fact, mas gusto ko sana mas madagdagan ng konti ito for the first batch. But may mga gaps pa ho yung iba in terms of the documentary evidence. Kaysa naman madidelay yung first batch dahil hindi pa nakumpleto yung gusto ko rin sanang ipasama, dahil kasama rin sila sa personal knowledge ng mga whistleblowers. But since hindi pa nakumpleto yung mga dokumento, kaya pinahold ko na muna po, isasama na lang sila sa second batch. And perhaps Attorney Baligod can further explain yung sinasabi ko na ano yung naging standard, particularly yung personal knowledge. As Levy.
Yung naging pamantayan po namin ay inuna na namin yung dati ng mga nababangkit sa dyaryo. No? Bago pa lamang lumabas yung mga whistleblowers, meron na kasing lumalabas sa dyaryo about certain legislators involved in the abuse of the PDAF. Pangalawa po, yung paulit-ulit na ginagamit ng legislators yung mga foundations, no?
Ayun.
So hindi lang minsan, hindi lang dalawang beses, pero maraming beses, ano? At pangatlo, yung laki ng pondo na inilalagak nila doon sa mga foundations. Kasi meron kang makikita na 50 million kaagad o 111 million, mga ganun ang nilalagay na pondo. Samantalang yung iba po kasi ay may mas maliit pa nga na 1 million, 2 million. So hinuli po namin yon.
Ma'am, how many more senators are we looking into?
I'm not gonna mention now.
Okay, ma'am. Staying with the 3 and the 2 other congressmen, would you say, how would you describe the relationship between the senator, the IA, and the NGO? Would you say it's habitual that they give money to the NGO?
Kagaya
What would you say about those who are saying signatures are voted?
Kagaya po ng sinabi ni Attorney Levy, ito pong first batch, base sa mga dokumento at base sa mga kwento ng whistleblowers, ito nga yung mga habitual na series of transactions na. Hindi lang isa, dalawa, tatlo. At paulit-ulit, ginamit yung mga Napoles NGOs na hindi naman nila pwedeng pagkaila na dapat alam nila yan kung totohanan ng mga NGOs yan or wala.
Ma'am, on the case of the whistleblowers, what steps have the DOJ and NBI taken to ensure protection of the witnesses, and if their affidavits have been submitted, so are you expecting any harassment suits? Are they immune with suits, or are they already with the
Well, Attorney Levy will answer that. But as to the steps that we have taken, some of them have been covered by under the WPP, and some are also under provisional WPP coverage. So pinaprocess yung kanilang provisional WPP coverage. Pero yung iba na cover na po namin sila. So with respect to the expected harassment, I suppose that should that would be expected. Attorney Baligoy, would you want to further elaborate?
Ma'am, yung sasabi ng portion signatures at sila.
Mag-defense lang siguro nila yan. That would be going into the merits.
Ma'am, parang
Okay.
wala ko si Rinald Kim doon sa charge sheet. Baka na-miss ko lang. Wala ba siya dyan?
Hindi kasama
Rinald
sa
Kim, wala, hindi siya charge.
Hindi siya kasama sa
foundations.
Ano pong reason ba?
hindi siya kasama sa foundations.
Anong reason bakit siya kasama ni Rinald Kim sa charge sheet?
Wala nga eh. Wala nga po.
Hindi siya foundation president.
Merong Ronald, but not Reynald. Si Ronald is another brother.
Pamangkin.
Pamangkin pala. I'm sorry. Pamangkin.
How many batches in all are we going to file against?
We don't know yet. But as we announced early on, it's really by batches, by tranches. Well, as many as we can really complete the story and complete the documents, the documentary support. Basta ba nakukumpleto na namin? Pero of course, kaysa naman isa-isa, we first group them. Kung meron ng significant number, let's say 5 or more, then we file that batch. Okay. Thousands.
Attorney, sabi mo kanina yung mga senators na sinampan ng kaso is sila din yung mga napapanggit sa newspaper. Si Honasan ba at si Marcos, Senator Honasan, is possible ba na makasama sila sa next batch?
Hindi ko masasagot sa ngayon yan dahil yung basis kasi ng complaint or affidavit ng mga whistleblowers mainly doon sa accounting record ni Benhar, no, from 2004 to 2010, and it is comprised of about 2,700 pages, and each page contains several transactions. No, so iniisa-isa po namin yon to build up cases against particular legislators. So hindi ko po masasagot kung makakasama si Senator Honasan o si Senator Bongbong.
Tsaka, ganito, isa pa rin ho, no? We need to remind you na yung ginagawa po ng NBI ay yung mga Napoles-related scams lang, Napoles-related NGOs. So even if meron pang mga ibang mga senators or congressmen na nandun sa COA special report covering 2007 to 2009, kung hindi naman po ginamit yung mga Napoles NGOs dun sa transaksyon nila, hindi po yan kasama sa investigasyon ng NBI. So, linilinaw lang namin yun kasi baka magtaka, bakit si ganito? Nakita namin yung pangalan dun sa COA report, pero hindi nyo sinasama. Ibig sabihin nun, walang koneksyon kay Napoles, most probably. Well, of course, on the part of the NBI, we hope that this will be subjected directly to PI. But as I said, it remains the prerogative of the Ombudsman.
How will the Napoles-related cases proceed? Will this be
Kakagulat naman.
proceed separately or will this be integrated into the bigger IAGSI group?
Ang Ombudsman po ang makakasagot niyan. Is the Office of the Ombudsman na makakasagot niyan. Pero siguro naman, kasi yung IAGSI mas malawak yon at nagsisimula pa lang.
Ma'am, even before the cases were filed here, ma'am, the AMLAC already applied with for a freeze order with the CA. But now that the charges have been filed with the Ombudsman, will you now do the proper coordination with AMLAC, ma'am, for the accounts or bank accounts of the lawmakers charged, ma'am?
Yes, only that, as I mentioned earlier, we cannot just directly secure from the AMLAC those documents, lalo na kung hindi pa nila sinasubmit sa Court of Appeals, because their bank inquiry is in connection with the freeze order that was issued by the Court of Appeals. So the AMLAC, without a permission from the Court of Appeals, cannot just give those documents to us. But as I mentioned earlier also, the Ombudsman, because she's an independent constitutional body and she has plenary powers to do that, coercive powers. She can always compel any agency of government, including AMLAC, to produce all the necessary documents.
Ma'am, with regard to the lawmakers charged, ma'am, the senators, the congressmen, since they're not part of the web or related accounts covered by the freeze order and still not being looked into by AMLAC because there's no freeze order, ma'am, would you now properly coordinate with AMLAC to apply with the CA for a freeze order on the bank accounts
Yes, that is
of
being
the
done.
lawmakers?
That is being done.
Ongoing na po, ma'am, yung coordination, ma'am.
Yung coordination. Kasi nga yung AMLAC, before it filed the case with the Court of Appeals, as represented by Solgen, no? AMLAC was represented. It was coordinating with the NBI.
Ma'am?
Mga senators, ma'am, at saka doon po sa mga officials, incumbent officials ng implementing agency, are we not asking for their preventive suspension pending the investigation?
We will study that. We will study that.
From today until we get a decision and the Sandigan, we cannot deny the public interest is very high and they want people to conviction. From today up to the time we get a decision, mga ilan yung tatakbuhin?
I'm not gonna make any estimate. No, it's not gonna be proper for me to do that. Kasi, well, depende yan sa takbo ng evaluation din. Sa dami niyan. You know, I don't want to be para namang, you know, would be exerting pressure on the office of the Ombudsman. Although, of course, the office of the Ombudsman, just like the NBI, we know that the extreme importance of this case because of the very high public interest involved. And best efforts naman ang pagtatrabaho sa mga kaso na yan. Thank you. That's all. Thank you very much.
Ang inyo pong napanood ay ang press briefing ni Justice Secretary Laila De Lima sa Ombudsman pagkatapos maisampa ng DOJ ang kasong plunder bago mag-alas 3:30 ng hapon laban kina Janet Lim Napoles at ilan pang idinadawit sa 10 billion peso pork barrel scam. Kabilang sa mga mambabatas na kinasuhan ng plunder, sina Senador Juan Ponce Enrile, Jinggoy Estrada, Bong Revilla, ex-representative Rizalina Laniete at ex-representative Edgar Valdez. Gayon din ng 6 na pangulo ng mga NGO na itinatag ni Janet Lim Napoles, ilang chief of staff ng mga mambabatas at 5 head ng implementing agencies. Sa kabuuan, 38 katao ang kinasuhan sa Ombudsman. Ayon kay De Lima, may mga kakasuhan pa sa susunod na linggo kaugnay sa pork barrel scam. Samantalang humarap naman sa media sa Senado si Senador Jinggoy Estrada. Kabilang si Estrada sa sinampahan ng Department of Justice ng kasong plunder para sa pagkakadawit nito sa 10 billion peso pork barrel scam. Sabi ni Estrada, handa siyang harapin ang kasong plunder laban sa kanya. Wala rin siyang planong umalis ng bansa.